Hi guys, am I live? I think I am. Oh, I am. Y'all. This show is doing me in. It's whew, guys, we have a lot to talk about this evening. Of course, I'm talking about The Summer I Turned Pretty, and also apologies because I did not give this stream a ton of heads up, and I didn't give you guys much of a heads up on this. I didn't really give a lot of advance notice, but I kind of decided the other day I was going to be able to stream tonight. I thought I might have to do it tomorrow, and then I forgot to make the thumbnail before I was busy for all day, and so I needed to get home, watch the actual episode, stay off the internet, because I was avoiding Instagram like the plague, because if I had had today's episode spoiled in any capacity, that would have ruined me, quite honestly. Again, I'm blanking on what I said, but we're talking tonight about The Summer I Turned Pretty, episode 7, season 3, episode 7. I am not, like, I overreacted too much to these episodes to do them actually live. Like, I need to have that quiet moment on my own to watch these. However, the intensity with which tonight's episode has emotionally damaged me, it required me to go on the internet and yap about it. It required me to get all my equipment ready, update the Bluetooth drivers on my freaking computer so that I could hop on here tonight to talk to you guys. And I am wanting to make this a weekly occurrence. Sorry, my hair, I don't know what my hair's doing today. It's all over the place. I am planning on making this a weekly occurrence. So if you are at all interested in watching me react to The Summer I Turned Pretty, or talking about it each Wednesday, please be sure to subscribe. Sorry, also, I have my camera in like a slightly different place than I normally put it, and so I'm a little bit out of whack as to where everything's supposed to go, and then I need to adjust here we go. Now we're back. Hey, listen, it's always an improvement when I have not too many delays and or technical difficulties when I go to stream. Basically, tonight's episode, this will be a spoiler live stream. I want to make that very clear off the bat. This is a spoiler live stream. I'm gonna put it in the chat actually. Spoilers for season 3, episode 7 ahead, so you've been warned. Also, just because I would be remiss if I didn't say it, guys, if any of you here are either new from that Conrad YouTube short I made, or have been Summer I Turned Pretty fans since I first posted about it 3 years ago, and I've just been waiting for me to make content about it, I cannot thank you guys enough for the way that you blew that video up. It was the highlight of my year YouTube-wise to watch that YouTube short absolutely steamroll viewership and likes, and like it was simply like it was just so amazing. So thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart for watching that video so many times, and for the people who are brand new here, welcome. My name's Sasha. I'm Team Conrad, and this show has taken over my life. Like, I know it sounds dramatic when people talk about television that way, but like, I'm a very obsessive person. I love the things I love deeply and intensely, and The Summer I Turned Pretty has, for the last month, I've been thinking about it because I caught up on season 2. I listened to We'll Always Have Summer. The audiobook is so good. Lola Tung, she is Belly to me. Like, I appreciate it so much. I'm honestly like considering going back and reading book 1 and book 2 just for any little details that I might have missed, but I don't think I will do that honestly once the season is finished. But this show it means so much to me for so many different reasons. I made a 20-minute video about it today already, so you're more than welcome to go and watch more cohesive, less dramatic thoughts about that, or if you haven't seen episode 7. But yeah, I love this show so much, and I think there's so much to be poured over. And I know there's a lot of people who talk about this show and are very critical of Belly, of the acting or the writing, or think that this is just kind of like some dumb little like teen soap show. And obviously there's always elements of anything that you can simplify down to like its potentially weakest parts, but this show to me is so, the fan base is so fun. I feel like a teenage girl again watching this show, and it has been such a reprieve from the stress of life and the reality of being an adult, quite honestly, that I'm just so grateful to have it. So without further ado, we need to talk about episode 7. Obviously, the biggest thing that happened this episode, and spoilers are ahead, so you've been warned, the biggest thing that happened this episode was the fact that Conrad confessed to Belly that he still loved her. And he told her, dump him, be with me, marry me. And I have never felt such acute pain over a television show in my life. Like, the yearning and the pureness of like Conrad and Belly's love is, it kills me a little bit, like in the best of ways. Like, it's so it's acute the way that their relationship impacts me, to be honest. But that's at the end of the episode, so we don't need to jump in there. And I do really appreciate the fact of how this episode was structured, because there was the build up to that moment, but then it wasn't like they cut there and had that be the end of the episode. They kind of, the writing and the direction on the show is so good. The way they pair the music, which we will, like, some of the song choices in this week's episode, honestly, are so intense and good and really just added in the storytelling. I think what I'm going to do, because it's going to help me the most, is if I pull up the episode on another screen here, and then we can kind of go like frame by frame. I will say is this my favorite episode of the season? I don't know, because I think that title would probably still go to episode 5, because I love being in Conrad's point of view, but this one might be a close second, even over last week, because I think you just feel the drama so much this episode. And things like Belly's scene in the bathroom with Taylor and her describing the wedding that she always imagined for herself. Okay, hold on. I just need to pull up the episode and go from there. So I also will be most definitely watching this as soon as I get off stream again. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I'm not even gonna be able to wait till tomorrow. Like, I'm gonna have to watch it now. Okay, hopefully this doesn't mess up with. So this episode was titled Episode 7, The Last Hurrah, or Last Hurrah, that's not the. And this episode is ostensibly about, like, the bachelorette parties, the bachelorette, and how, like, all their friends showing up and being in cousins. So Conrad fixing things around the house, gonna get me every time, okay? It's so clearly a parallel to Noah from The Notebook, when he fixes up that his house that he and Allie talked about having. I think the thing that with Conrad is, like, he's busying himself, and I like the fact that they were like, he couldn't stop injuring himself. Like, he's almost like trying to recreate the moment with the surfboard. And I do like the fact that this episode, kind of started like, here's the thing. I'm never team anti-Belly. Like, I'll be honest. Have I made those jokes before? For sure. I think everyone in the fandom probably has. But the reason I'm never going to be against Belly is because she is such, to me, like, a fleshed out character of a person who is, like, trying to, like, there are two versions of her, of, like, the head and the heart version, which, like, to be honest, girl, if your heart's already with Conrad, your head definitely shouldn't be in the Jeremiah space, because he I don't know that he has a brain in his head, so, whatever. But it's sorry, I also major warning for a bunch of Jeremiah hatred, because this episode just pissed me off even more again. Like, no, I wasn't a fan. So I love the fact that the episode starts with Conrad kind of fixing things up around the house, because it is, like, the only thing that he can really do to be helpful in this situation, because he doesn't want to be, like, too close to the wedding. So he's, like, focusing on the house. I'll say with the Steven and Denise storyline, this feels like an intended obstacle to, like, keep Steven and Taylor apart, which to some extent I understand in the show, to just give like additional payoff of like them probably getting together eventually. But the thing is, it's kind of like I'm already in so much pain over Belly not being with Conrad that I don't know, maybe the Steven Taylor thing is supposed to be for the Jeremiah girlies. If someone could let me know their stance on Jeremiah, Steven, and Taylor, because I'm just not quite sure if like who that's supposed to be for, because like I'm not a fan of them cheating on their significant others in the beginning of the show, like not a fan of that at all. The Denise storyline, I don't want Denise to be reduced to like girl that Steven should or like could end up with, but she ends up with Taylor, because I love the Steven and Taylor dynamic so much, and I feel like in a lot of TV shows where you have a will they won't they couple, you need to have like a stable couple to kind of balance it out. And obviously this isn't as long running of a TV show as like Friends or How I Met Your Mother or anything like that, but it is kind of strange to me that like I just don't know what to think, because like I like Denise as a character, I even like the moment she had with Taylor in this episode, but and I am all on board with the whole like plotline of them like starting their own gaming company, but I'm not a fan of the delay of Steven and Taylor, because I'm like, you could be giving us at least like some solace, especially because if you haven't read the book, Steven and Taylor are very minor characters in the book, and they do not have a relationship at all whatsoever, like not even hinted at in the books, and so that's a completely new creation for the show. So it doesn't make sense to then like make them kind of crappy people. The only thing I can draw from it that like might be meaningful is that it's supposed to make you maybe sympathize with like Jeremiah or Belly a little bit more with more of the choices that they're making this season, because, or even Conrad, because they too are very messy people. Like I think it's maybe supposed to make Jeremiah not look so bad for the cheating thing, because it's like, well, maybe he was even technically on a break, whereas like Steven and Taylor, you're rooting for them, and yet they weren't on a break, and things like that. So I don't know. I just obviously, and this comes up in the context of the show all the time, but like obviously I'm not supporting cheating. Obviously I don't want to see Belly actually cheat on Jeremiah, because then that loses any criticism that one could have of Jeremiah for doing the same to Belly. But yeah, I'm just not really quite sure where the show is going with this. I feel like Jenny Han just likes to have messy characters, especially after recently rewatching To All the Boys I Loved Before. Those characters are so kind of more on the straight and narrow, like quote unquote like good, not messy kids, that it's kind of like, I feel like here Jenny Han was having fun. I feel like the writers were like, we got to make this a little bit more, not euphoria, but like a little bit more drama-y. And so I feel like that's what they're doing. So that's kind of my take on the Steven Denise thing. I don't really want to talk about that anymore. I want to talk about Conrad and Belly. Okay, Jeremiah shows up in every episode. I genuinely mean this. Every episode, I try to give Jeremiah Fisher the benefit of the doubt. I try to say, okay, Jeremiah, you know what? I read the book. I think I know what's coming in the TV show. Let me give you a chance to redeem yourself. Let me give you a chance to be the man that Belly thinks that you are, to be a potentially good husband for her, to actually challenge in this love triangle, actually compete with Conrad in a sense of like who would make the better match for her. And when this man pulls up, drugs in his box, talkies for the gift bags. Listen, if you've ever planned a wedding, you understand how much as a woman, usually you want certain things to be a little perfect. And like I do like the fact that in here Belly's like, I don't actually care about a lot of these things. Like if Jeremiah likes these things, then he can go for it. But it's just it's giving, oh, this is what Jeremiah wanted and he didn't really consider what Belly wanted. Not Belly actually said she doesn't care and therefore I'm gonna go with this. And it's just like everything he keeps doing for this stupid wedding, he's like not running by her, and I just very much am against that. Like even in TV shows of like, if you're marrying this person, you need to be able to run decisions by them. That is like step one of a healthy communicative marriage. Okay, so he pulls up with all that stuff and it's pissing me off because later in the episode it's even talked about that Belly does not like when Jeremiah smokes, and it's such a good throwback to season 1 when Conrad is on his little like emo boy kick 9000, and he's just like moping around the beach house smoking that for summer, and Belly is like, that's bad for you, that's bad for your white, did she say like white matter or something, like it's bad for your brain basically. And like he stops early in the season because Belly kind of asks him to, and it's that's the kind of thing that gets me about this and the two of them. And I'm just like, Belly, how are you not seeing what I'm seeing? Like, I get that love blinds people, but like when you see Jeremiah say to Conrad, like, oh yeah, I mostly gave it up because like Belly hates it. Like that just pisses me off. You haven't given it, I don't know. It's just making me mad. Belly looks so good in her little veil and bathing suit moment. Like, loved that. The dancing was cringy in this episode. I will say, for as beautiful and poetic of an ending as they gave us, the dancing was cringy. No one is dancing like that at their wedding. And then making your brother do a dance at his ex-girlfriend's wedding that you're marrying, that's criminal behavior, Jeremiah. That's actually mean. And good on Conrad for learning that stupid dance and doing that for his brother because he loves him. Okay, so that's like the most of the beginning of the episode. The breaking of the hurricane vases. I can't stand Jeremiah's friends also. If those were my future husband's friends, that alone would potentially get me out the door and definitely like stop me from going down that aisle. Like, Redbird pisses me off. He's so annoying. And I get that people like this can be charming in certain settings, but like in the context of a wedding, no. In the context of a wedding that all of your friends and family have already told you you might be rushing through, absolutely not. No. Like, these people needed to be on their best behavior if they wanted me to be on board with the Jeremiah Belly wedding. And the fact that like you can tell in this episode, and this is what I really appreciated, is Conrad, and this is why it's so good, Conrad is trying his hardest to let things go and be like, you know what, I'm not gonna fix everything for Belly. He's done the important things like getting Laurel on board. He's helped her with decorations and helped her with the cake, but like this is 3 days out from the wedding. 3 days out. And so you have to imagine that Conrad has been like, okay, I have to like give this up. I have to not let any of this happen. Because my read of this episode is that Conrad is prepared to die with the secret that he's still in love with Belly and not ask her for anything and be good for her because she is happy, and he's just like facilitated certain things that are like very important. So these lesser, not as important things shouldn't matter as much, right? And so he's fully willing to like die with the secret of being in love with her until that moment at the bar, which we'll get to later. But I loved watching him try to, and then be like, you know what? No, like this is the life Belly has chosen. Like, she's happy. Maybe she's fine with this. Maybe I'm actually like inserting my will. Maybe I'm actually like imposing too much. And I just really, really loved that. And then next up, the Jeremiah Belly scene. I don't even want to actually speak about it. Like, when I saw that happening, I was like, there is no way that they're torturing us having to sit through this. I feel like they're throwing bones at the Jeremiah folks. And I've already seen like comparisons to the scene from Man-Child, like a music video compared to like Belly and Jeremiah like in this episode. And listen, like, I get that what she's trying to show is that Belly actually does love Jeremiah in some capacity, but it just isn't the same as the way she loves Conrad. I get that that's what the thematics here are, but that was a little bit of pure torture prior to the straight up pain that was going to come later in the episode. That was just a little bit of like, oh yeah, we're going to make these people suffer. We're going to make Team Conrad really wait and beg and hope for their guy to like figure his stuff out. So hated that. And then I love so much the little bachelorette escapades, because you just feel the tension building. You just know, like, again, especially if you've read the books, you know you're building up to the moment that we're all building up to. But I really do appreciate Taylor and Belly's relationship at this point in the story, because I did not in season 1. I hated Taylor when I first watched the show. I was like, I don't understand what her purpose is in the show. I don't understand why she's here for, like, to be honest. Is my, okay, hold on. I just realized something. My mic is on, right? I really hope so. I really hope so. Maybe I should check. Huh? I just had the realization that I did not give this any, like, heads up. So I get that people wouldn't necessarily be watching, but I'm actually terrified that I don't have any sound. Hold on. If so, that's gonna be so embarrassing because I've definitely been live for like 15-20 minutes at least. Okay, thank God. Okay, I am okay. There's sound. All right. Guys, please be giving your feedback. Okay. So sorry, I was at the part of the episode. Sorry, I was so nervous that my sound wasn't working and that this was all for nothing and I just been yapping into a microphone silently for 20 minutes. The Belly Jeremiah scene, I do indeed understand the purpose, and I understand that they're supposed to be getting married and that this is either a scene that can be read as like Belly is like, nope, I am in love with Jeremiah. Like, I do see him this way. It's a reminder that, hey, she does love him. Like, she didn't just get to this point out of, like, spite of, like, oh, I don't love Conrad anymore. I'm picking his brother. Like, there is a genuine, like, care and friendship that has blossomed into this love for them. But when Jeremiah told her, you have time, I just about threw up. Like, I need to calm down. I shouldn't hate a fictional character like this so much. I don't think hate is the right word, because I did like Jeremiah in season 1. I just do not like the kind of F-boyness that Jeremiah has. It's a very like, ooh, I'm sexy boy, ooh, I'm flirty boy, like, and it's not, I care about you deeply. It's not like, I don't know, he gives me two, and please tell me in the comments if you guys disagree with this, but I am also just not the kind of person in my relationship where I really need, what is the word? Like, that level of, there's just something to Jeremiah that I cannot put my finger on or can't describe accurately, and I wish so hard that I could, because I don't just want to vehemently be hating on, again, a fictional, I'll say it again, fictional character online and in my videos. But there's this immaturity to the way that I feel like he loves Belly that really sends me over the edge. It's a very like, we got, like, I'm gonna be together all the time, like, I'm gonna say these flirty things to you. I don't feel like in this season once he's talked to Belly about her feelings. Like, and I get the fact that when she says something like, oh my God, I don't know how I'm supposed to get married without my mom, and his mom has literally passed away, I will give him that grace. I will let him know that, like, I will allow that to happen. However, it just, like, once, if he had asked Belly how she was feeling about any of this, if he had said to Belly, like, hey, like, I don't know, he's just dismissive to me. He's not, there's a lack of depth there that really drives me crazy. And again, that's all intentional. This has all been written by an author who has a, like, creative writing degree, who is crafting this, but it's just, it gets me. It gets me. And in this episode, I was like, I can't believe I'm being subjected to this, honestly, right now. So then they go out, and, oh, Laurel and John also, I'm so on board with them getting back together, because I think, and I saw somebody say that they're not a fan of Laurel and John getting back together, because in the books and in the show, it's always been implied that, like, Laurel didn't truly love him. However, I think that's because Laurel was so caught up in this idea of, like, her, like, she's the kind of person that has this, like, vision of what her life's supposed to go, that she hasn't, like, actually, how do I want to phrase this? Because I feel like I'm not articulating myself well. I like the idea of Laurel and John getting back together, because it kind of feels like maybe because of her and Susannah's past, like, she's just, like, wanting to be this independent person and be who she was in college. Like, even the fact that she calls Susannah Beck, which is a nickname, like, it's not, like, wrong to call your best friend a nickname, but the fact that she's stuck on Susannah as a single married person, and, like, that being her last name, and just attaching herself to that, I think, and she hasn't, like, let herself be together with John. I don't know. I just think it's cute. I think the concept of their parents getting back together is so cute, and having this like great relationship. And now that they're both like, they've gone through significant changes in their life, that like, I don't know, that maybe they could work. I really love that about, like, I really love them being together. I'm gonna be honest. I couldn't be mad about it. I couldn't not like it. I really like them getting back together. So that's really sweet. But then when they're finally out and about, Belly's realization that Conrad is the one that got Laurel to, like, guys, I'm so deep on the show. When Belly finds out that Conrad is the one that got Laurel to go, I'm obsessed with the fact that that's the thing that makes her spiral so bad, because it's not just a like, oh, he's attractive in this moment, oh, he helped me with this one thing, but it's this like deep understanding and this like need to not take credit for it that I think is reminding her, along with like the Rosie the dog story, that she's like not even being able to trust her full own emotions about this whole thing. And so the fact that she spirals off of this, it's this feeling of like, oh, he did this, he knows me, he cares about me, blah, like, ugh, I just love it. I love it so much. And then the whole glass unicorn thing, I really just, I loved that. I love little details like this in stories that are like kind of like lifelong love stories, like especially when they're like kind of childhood sweethearts or something like that, because I think there's a beauty in knowing someone so deeply to their core in these like kind of silly ways, like the fact that Conrad asks in season 2, because of course I've been rewatching, like, do you still pretend like you're in the Olympics when you swim in the pool and you do your laps in the pool? Like that level of knowing somebody so intimately over the span of their life is so romantic. Like I love that. And it's so, I also just love the little actors that play like young Conrad and young Belly. Anyway, moving on. The Ariana Grande "We Can't Be Friends" while Belly is like crashing out on the dance floor, basically. That, honestly, not that I didn't love Conrad confessing his emotions, we'll get to that in a minute, but I loved this moment because, one, girl is like down bad, but I think it's this feeling of Belly has been so uptight this whole wedding, and like she's finally letting loose, she's finally having fun with her girlfriend, she's finally away from Conrad, away from Jeremiah, away from her mom's pressure about not getting married. Like it's finally like all these things are happening, all the things she's like supposedly wanted all season are happening, and she's able to actually take a minute to like breathe and think, and her mind goes to Conrad. I think the subconsciousness of this moment is so important to how the show is gonna work out, because like with every second of this episode I was like, anyone that thinks that Jenny Han is changing a single thing about this ending, again, in a core context, is no, it's not happening. She's not doing it. She's not going to change anything, because you cannot have "We Can't Be Friends" play to a montage of Belly and Conrad moments from every episode prior to this and tell me that she's not going to end up with him. Like, that's just not happening. And then for the immediate crash out to go to the bathroom and confide in Taylor that, like, all she has ever imagined for her wedding, like beyond anything, is being with Conrad. I just love that. Hold on, I think I might have my my chat settings changed. I'm gonna swap this. Okay, I think I updated it. So sorry guys. Anyway, sorry. I need people to chat with about this. I need to hear other people's opinions about this. I need to be able to just yap about this with people. But when she goes to that, like, that is just so sweet that the only thing she's ever cared about, again, the parallels of Conrad and Jeremiah and like Belly and how that all works. The fact that when Belly says like, this is not the wedding that I want, that this isn't at all what I planned, this is not my dream, this is not anything of the sort, all I ever wanted was Conrad. Again, she's being subconscious. I like the fact that Taylor doesn't shut her down here, but also is like, okay, like, let's calm down. Like, she's trying to be a supportive friend. And I think there's going to be another moment that's coming in a future episode, probably episode 9, if I had to guess, of a Taylor and Belly conversation that's from the books, where I think she's going to be able to, like, they're going to have this, like, true best friend, like, I'm not going to judge you for what happens here, like, going forward, but, like, kind of a parallel to the conversation she had when Belly told her about being engaged for the first time. Like, I think something like that's going to happen. But here, I like the fact that she kind of just calms her down, because she's like, okay, I'm not going to be, like, a horrible friend, and I'm not going to also blow up your life right now when, like, you might just be drunk and you might just be crashing out on the dance floor. But for that to be what Belly's concerned about is, like, is she marrying the right person? Because that's essentially what that comment is supposed to mean, right? Like, it can't be read as anything else. Versus Jeremiah wanting the anatomical heart ice sculpture. Are you okay? And the $750 mirror raspberry 70% cacao flavor profile cake, and having it at the country club, and having all his daddy's friends there, and having his dad pay for it even though that's not what Belly wanted. Like, all of these elements combining, and yet the only thing that Belly cares about was her mom being there to pick the dress. It wasn't that she cared about the dress. It was that her mom was there. It wasn't about having a low budget wedding. It was about marrying the right person. It wasn't even about the ring. And I will say, like, as much as the fan base has kind of made a joke out of Belly's engagement ring, and for good reason, like, it's comically small in the show. Like, they could have done Jeremiah better, but it's comically small. It's showing, like, the value of money. Like, Jeremiah needed to be in the movie Materialist, let me tell you something, because this boy is constantly talking about spending money. Did not spend money on the ring, did not get dad's money to spend money on the ring. He's not the one concerned about Belly's mom being there and the family and the actual, like, important aspects of a wedding. And I think the fact that that's where his focus lies, again, versus Belly's being like, I only ever imagined Conrad, and that's kind of why she's crashing out. Like, are you guys, please tell me you guys are seeing these lines and I'm not. I know that I'm the meme of Charlie from It's Always Sunny, like, moving, like, all the dots around on your crazy person corkboard. But this show just has consumed my every waking thought, I swear to God, for the last week and a half. Okay, crash out in the bathroom, and then we get the moment in the bar. And it's so cringe-inducing because you know it's gonna kill Conrad. I think this moment was so well delivered because he hears, like, he so potentially could have not heard the other frat guys that Jeremiah is friends with. It's not that so could have easily not been heard, the same way that Belly could have so easily not heard about Lacey talking about her outside the bathroom. Also, the fact that they were both, like, going to the bathroom and just, like, getting air and space from everyone when they both found out about Jeremiah cheating, poetic. It's poetic, quite honestly. But the fact that he comes back, he doesn't, like, attack or confront Jeremiah. Like, you have that moment in the bathroom where Conrad just feels pity for Jeremiah, of, like, how are you fumbling the bag? How did you end up with the girl that I'm in love with? You cheated on her. You're drunk 2 days before your wedding after you said you weren't going to get drunk. Your friends are all losers, and you aren't giving her the wedding that she wants. And so then the fact, like, I'm so obsessed with that. And then, of course, we have the beach moment, which was better than I ever actually could have imagined, because you can tell there's a moment there where, like, Conrad doesn't act like, guys, I'm feeling actual pain in my chest, actual butterflies about this, because I think this is so well written. I think it's so well done. And okay, let me get my thoughts together. Conrad is trying to tell Belly, like, I think if she had had the reaction of, oh my God, he cheated on me, he would never have told her that he had feelings for her. But when he realizes that that's not stopping her, and that she's, because it's not even about, like, at least at first, like, being with him. It's the fact that, like, oh, and Jeremiah said, oh my God, guys, I'm getting flashbacks to things Jeremiah said that pissed me off. I'm sorry of your team, Jeremiah. I understand what could be appealing, but, like, I don't. Like, this season I don't, with the credit and with the, like, not getting an apartment and, like, not being able to, like, I don't know, afford to take your future wife on this. Like, I just, no, I can't with him. Sorry, he says something like, oh, you took care of my girl all summer? Gag me with a spoon, Jeremiah. I don't want to hear you ever talk about Belly that way. Anyway, we're at the important part of the episode, Sasha. Get it together. Conrad confesses his feelings. He confesses his feelings on the beach. He says the thing. He said, don't be with him. Don't marry him. Be with me. It's so good. I also, and listen, I know a lot of people are going to be probably talking about this scene specifically, because this is like the scene that a lot of the season has been building up to, is this scene specifically. But the concept of Belly being like, you weren't anything to me. Like, she's just trying to hurt him because she is realizing she's in too deep. And she hasn't thought about these feelings. Like, I can't imagine what it would be like. Thank God that this has not happened to me. But I cannot imagine what it would feel like to think that you have everything figured out, like Belly thinks she has this season, and then to start to feel differently about something as serious about the person you love and the person that you're going to marry. Have it be two people who are, like, linked, and not, like, of course she's going to try to hurt Conrad. She's emotional. She's devastated that he's saying this in what she feels like is too late of a time for her to do anything with this information, and that's why she's hurt. She's not hurt because she doesn't love Conrad. She's not hurt because her words actually mean anything. And also, it is fair to be upset with Belly about this, but, like, I was not upset with Conrad. I mean, I was, but I'm not upset with Conrad because it adds to the drama when he was, like, in the motel, like, oh, I don't want to be with you anymore, like, be with Jer. I feel like it's, again, their song is literally The Way I Loved You by Taylor Swift, which is about kissing and fighting and screaming. Kissing and fighting and screaming and fighting. I literally listened to it like 5 times today. Screaming and fighting and kissing in the rain. There you go. You think a girl that's her song with her man is not going to tell him something incredibly, horribly hurtful and tragic when he's just confessed his love to her? Come on. Be so for real. That's not going to happen. And so anyway, moving on. She goes and she breaks down in the sand, which this is exactly how it happens in the book, where she's like, I have to get away from Conrad. I have to, like, not let him see me cry. And then she just breaks down. And I love how there's a slight change here from the book, which I feel like is fair to spoil now because you're either, like, you enjoyed both, or you're kind of probably a TV show purist. But in the book, I'm pretty sure she goes back to Jeremiah and tells him she loves him and, like, spends the night with him. But instead here she goes to Taylor. And she's emotional, and Taylor's not sure what's going on. Love of My Life, or Loss of My Life, LOML, by Taylor Swift starts playing, which is the most criminally painful song that they could have found in Taylor's discography to play here, because the dual meaning works so perfectly for Conrad, of this concept of, like, oh, she's actually loved him her entire life. She feels like she's losing him right now because she's marrying his brother, but she's also feeling maybe, like, the loss of, like, Jeremiah and this, I don't know, like, I feel like she's also lost the sense of self, which, again, I'm not trying to say that Belly's self-worth is tied up in Conrad. All I'm saying is that I think Belly's feelings about herself are not, like, her self-worth and confidence this season is definitely lower than when she was with Conrad, and you can't argue with me. I won't hear it. But the fact that she goes and she's with Taylor, and Taylor's clearly trying to process, like, what's going on? What does Belly need? What is the right thing to say here as a friend? Because, again, you don't want to be like, oh, I hate Jeremiah, be with Conrad, which is totally not true for Taylor. She's always loved Jeremiah. She's always been team jellyfish. But, like, when Belly gets into bed and then her knocking on the wall, because her and Jeremiah's rooms are bumped up next to each other, and she doesn't get a knock back. It is Jeremiah's room, right? It's not Conrad's room. Because I don't think Conrad goes back to bed. I think she would think it was Jeremiah. And I think that's the amazing thing about her going back and, like, checking on Jeremiah and Jeremiah never making it to the beach, is that, because I don't even think that was agreed to in the book, but I think this makes, like, an excellent change here, is that Belly is trying to give Jeremiah every chance to step up, to not get super wasted, to, I don't know, be there for her, like, put their relationship first, not be selfish about, like, just having fun with his boys. and he makes the wrong choice every time, or not even the wrong choice, but he's not the person that she needs or that she wants to be there for her. And it's so devastating. It's so... I just feel like that moment is so well written, especially because it's not in the books, and that had to be crafted as to, like, how do we make this more emotional, because there is a loss here for Belly of, like, even if she decided, like, oh, okay, like, I'm gonna go, and, like, I do have these feelings for Conrad, I'm gonna call off the wedding, she knows she's gonna hurt Jeremiah in a way that, like, last time she just kissed him and told her that she wanted to be with told him that she wanted to be with Conrad, and then got with Conrad, like, a month later or something. And he crashed out and didn't speak to her for a year. What is he gonna do when she calls off the wedding? Like, of course she's doing everything to move forward with this wedding, because she has an issue with conflict with people that are not Conrad for some reason, which just adds to their, like, love story. But I just loved that being the ending of the episode, rather than I thought it was gonna end when she was crying on the beach, and then I thought, like, maybe it would just end with her, like, crying in bed with Taylor, because there's a couple more conversations involving Taylor that are going to happen, I believe, if they follow, again, the book. Like, I believe they're going to. But then the fact that they ended it like this, it feels like the end for Jeremiah. And I guess that maybe is, in so many ways, the reason why they gave us that scene with Belly and Jeremiah at the beginning of the episode. Because there needed to be some type of culmination or conclusion of their relationship and, like, their feelings for one another, because it's over for homeboy. Like, I know that it ends with Belly being down in the dumps, Conrad crying on the beach, Jeremiah being passed out drunk as a skunk in bed, but I really genuinely do believe that, like, this is the end for Jeremiah. Like, that is a not goodbye if you ask me, okay? All right, and that's the episode. That's the entire episode broken down. I'm so sorry that was so long, unnecessarily, for 45 minutes, but I genuinely cannot believe and express to you how much I love this show. I have a couple comments, so let's go through those. Hello, pal. Allie says, it's interesting because she could have gone to her brother's dad place the whole time. Yes, and I get where you're coming from. Steven's place is in like, New York City, though. And I think it's implied that they live in somewhere in Massachusetts, because the boys live in Boston. And I don't think they're, like, particularly close to Belly. And I don't know where her dad is, like, implied to live. Is that his place in New York City? But I think, like, Cousins is this special place for her. And much in the same way that in season 2, like, hold on, wait, why isn't this not? Let me get this so I can copy it to the board. Oops, wrong thing. Okay, let me see if this works now. Hello? Perhaps not, perhaps. Oh, there we go. Okay. I do, like, she could have gone. I do think there is supposed to be some implied distance between those places, but obviously, like, people are traveling. And part of the reason that she's supposed to be in Cousins is, like, Jeremiah is supposed to be in Cousins, not only because they're spending the summer there and because that's an important place to Belly, but, like, that's where they're literally getting married. And as someone that has planned a wedding, it is super helpful to be close by the place that you're getting married, especially when, like, Belly, you're getting married in, like, literally 6 weeks. So the fact that like, she has to do the Michaels, do all the other runs, and, like, of course, like, with this now becoming a way bigger wedding and in the country club, like, she has to kind of be local. So I do get what you're saying, and I think that's also probably, like, a subconscious thing for Belly of, like, hey girl, like, if you didn't want to be in a house with your ex-boyfriend, soon to be brother-in-law, perhaps you could have gone and stayed with your dad. Perhaps. So I see where you're coming from, Allie. I do get that. Yes, pal. I want everyone to be happy. I think that's the end by the end of the season. And I don't want to spoil too much about the books because there is still time for people to go and read it if they wanted to read it first before the show is over, or if they want to, like, catch little details afterwards. But I do think if this ends the way that the book ends, even if it's a little bit messier, even if it's a little bit more hurtful, Jenny Han has talked in interviews about the fact that she genuinely loves a hopeful, happy, not maybe even a happy ending, but like a hopeful ending. And if you've watched To All the Boys I've Loved Before, like in that entire trilogy, like every single one of those movies, even if it's a little bit messy or like hints to something else and isn't like a perfect ending, like Laura Jean and Peter going to two different schools 3,000 miles apart, like that's a little bit messy. That's not a clean, tied up, perfect, wrapped in a bow ending. And so maybe we're not going to get that here. Maybe we're not going to get what I think is like such a perfect ending in the book. But I do think everyone's going to be happy, because I do think that Jenny Han does love and care about each one of these characters and does want to give them that send-off, so that no matter, like she said, who you're rooting for, you're going to find something to be happy about or have a moment in the show where you're going to be like kind of emotional about it. And then Powell also said, I think Conrad has been in such a hard spot this season. It's a very messy situation. It's a super messy situation. Definitely not one I'd ever want to find a friend of mine in. Like, I just feel like that would be so hard to navigate if I was like Taylor in this situation. And at least Taylor even has like the input of like, she knows both the guys. She's been there for a lot of the history between them. But like, if I was Annika, I'd be like, what is going on? Like, can someone please chill out? Like, this wedding is a mess. Like, anyone from an outside perspective could call this, but I think that's also like what makes this show so good, is like it has to come from Belly, because her mom telling her dad telling her, Adam telling her, Conrad telling her, none of these things are going to in and of themselves alone, she has to make this decision for herself. She has to be the one to decide, like, here's how things are gonna play out, like, and I need to choose this for myself. But yeah, Conrad, I just think that the character of Conrad Fisher is the way that he cares so much about Belly, the way that he's trying to be a good man, a better man than his father, a better man than now his brother, that he, and not in a competitive way, but genuinely just like trying to improve himself, trying to be a better all while he's trying to be a doctor because he's lost his mother. Yeah, like I'm picking Conrad every time. Allie said, it's just so wrong to go between two brothers. Their dad is such a piece of work. Their dad is totally a piece of work. They should go their own way. Listen, okay, and I have heard people saying this, like, team, everyone find somebody other than this love triangle. Again, if these were real people, I would 1000% agree with you, and I would be like, this is too messy. There's going to be too many hurt feelings, and, like, you're messing with family. However, I feel like Belly was doomed from the start. Again, they're fictional characters. So it is whatever. And then, not whatever, because it's meaningful. Fictional characters and fictional stories are meaningful. But it's whatever in the sense of, like, this is not a real person that I'm advising. Like, I would never advise someone to go and date two brothers. I would never advise that. I just don't, that's not a healthy, happy, great thing. But this is a dramatic television show, and I'm going to be sitting in chat for every episode, and I'm rooting for Belly and Conrad to be together, because I love a first love story. I love the concept of them getting together and being together after all these trials and tribulations. And yeah, I think it's also like Belly was set up from the beginning of her life, basically, to, like, Susannah's constantly talking about them being together, and you can tell, even though Laurel is not like as quick as Susannah to be like, yes, like, date one of the Fisher boys, like, be with one of the Fisher boys, you know that, like, if it was Conrad, Laurel would be a little bit different about it. And also, if it was, like, that Laurel and Susannah must have had those conversations of, like, oh my gosh, like, you have a daughter, like, I have two sons, like, maybe they'll be together, like, maybe something will happen between them. And the fact that they, like, have been in each other's lives so long, I think it's kind of impossible to not have a super deep and meaningful relationship with people like that who've been in your life a long time. I'm not saying you always have, like, obviously a romantic relationship or even like a messy one like this, but yeah, if it was real people, this is completely different. This is all because they're fictional characters, and I love watching the drama every week. And I obviously, like, I don't like Jeremiah. I don't like seeing her with Jeremiah. I don't like the concept of her being, like, messing with the families, but I do think it's the show is portraying, like, her as coming from, like, she's coming from a place of true emotions. She's not just being like, oh, how can I, like, make my life messy and be, like, the main character and, like, ruin everyone else's life, like, let me date this brother, let me go with this brother. She's trying to figure out in this season specifically, like, where her heart is at. And also the number of people who have been on, like, hopping on the Belly hate bandwagon to say, like, oh, Belly cheated. Again, would I ever in real life want to find my significant other in a compromising position like Belly did in the bathroom scene last episode with Conrad, like helping him with his surfboard cut? No, never would I want to see that. A lot of questions would have to be asked. A lot of conversations would have to be had. However, it's fictional. And also, Belly didn't cross any lines. She didn't do anything. She's not, I don't know, like, it's not like her and Conrad are, like, acting like a couple or doing anything that I think could necessarily be considered cheating. I do think, obviously, there's an emotional line there, but part of that is that Jeremiah is not actively there to talk to her about her, like, her wedding stress. But it's also implied a lot in the show that she's not necessarily talking to him about this stuff either, other than the one episode where they're, like, going to Michael's together. But yes, pal, I agree. I want Taylor and Steven to figure out their stuff and get together. And again, I like Denise. I think she's a fun character, but quite honestly, I don't care. I want to see them make their app. I want to see them be happy. I want to see them leave Adam Fisher's company. But beyond that, I don't know. Like, I just want Taylor and Steven to be together. I feel like they're so cute, and I feel like they served as this parallel to Belly and her relationship with the two brothers, because, like, they literally have that scene in season 2 where they're kind of like, okay, let's cut the crap, and, like, okay, I'll give in first. Like, I like you. Like, I don't know what you want me to say to you. Let's be together. And obviously we kind of get there with, like, Conrad in this episode, but yeah, geez, guys. Okay. Another thing I did want to kind of analyze a little bit more, just because I did it in my video that I posted today so much, was the costumes of this episode. Again, specifically Belly's costumes and Jeremiah and Conrad's. Belly is wearing gray in the beginning, which if we're going to go back to the what am I trying to say here? The red analogy of, like, losing him was blue. Why can't I remember any Taylor Swift lyrics when I'm filming a video? Losing him was blue, like I've never known. Missing him was dark gray, all alone. But loving him was red. So, she's in dark gray, cousins, beach her in the beginning. Okay, cool. Then her little bridal bathing suit has the little blue bows on it, which obviously something blue for the wedding, da-da-da. But also because she's marrying Jeremiah. Okay, bet. Okay, now this stopped. She's obviously wearing a lot more white, which I did say in my video. Maybe I cut it, but she did seem to be wearing, like, some more white around Conrad, which I didn't know if that was the show kind of trying to imply something to us about who she's meant to be with. But in this episode, she's obviously on her bachelorette trip, so she is wearing white for, like, basically the whole episode. Does she have more screen time with Conrad, though? Yeah, she does. This one's like a stretch, but I guess her robe in her scene with Jeremiah is pink, which is close to red. It's actually red and white put together. That's a stretch. That's actually, I don't believe that that's anything. And then Conrad's kind of wearing this, I don't know, maybe Conrad's like outfits don't mean anything here, but I also wonder if Belly wearing white in this episode, because she's actually, like, kind of, like, she's obviously crashing out. She's obviously trying to have this, like, hard reset of, like, where her emotions are at, who she has these feelings for, why she has these feelings, what she needs to do to sort them out, which what I would say is to call off the wedding, point blank period, even if you don't break up with Jeremiah. At this point in time, like, your emotions are too crazy. However, I have talked to people before who have said that the pressure of a wedding has gotten to them so much that they have gone through something that maybe they felt at the time wasn't ready. Obviously, I don't know anyone that has dated two brothers and had one of the brothers, that the one that she wasn't marrying, confess his love for her 2 days before her wedding, and then still, like, I don't have that context, but I do think that there are people who, you know, you get in your head that there's been this money spent and all this effort and this to do, and, like, she's been so stressed and she feels like, okay, like, everything was fine before, which it wasn't, Belly. He cheated on you and you guys were fighting, so no, let's not go there. But I just think her wearing white is obviously supposed to be for her being a bride, but it's also the fact that she's not dressed in, like, either color that is associated with the two boys, that it's completely, like, kind of on her own. Yeah, okay. I think those are the only episodes she wears. Yeah, my favorite songs of the episode were most certainly, obviously, I honestly really liked the Ariana Grande one, potentially even more than the Taylor Swift one, because the Taylor Swift one was painful and left me sad, but the Ariana Grande one, just having that, like, that concept of her just flashing back to Conrad and being like, this is actually never going to be over. Like, I'm never going to... That's her realizing what he says to her at the end of the episode. When he says, like, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to get over you. Like, I don't think there's ever going to be a point in time where, like, I don't love you a little bit, that I wouldn't be willing to, like, start something up with you again. That I'd want to be with you. Like, I have that strong of feelings for you. And I think that's her version of that, because she's never had anything close to that about Jeremiah. So that song is probably my favorite for the episode. Then there was another Taylor Swift song that played during the unicorn flashback. Something about, hold on. It's from Tortured Poets. Is it Tiger? Is that... I'm such a bad Swiftie. Guys, also, I'd like to address this publicly since I am live on the internet right now. When I said I'm losing you in that YouTube short that 60,000 people saw, saying the wrong Taylor Swift name, like that, I need you guys to know that hurt my soul, and you're more than welcome to call me out on it. I appreciate the kind people that did, and for not revoking my Swiftie card, because it kind of deserved to be in that point in time. Like, I was actively trying to give an analysis of Taylor songs in a TV show, and I did it wrong, right? Like, I did it wrong. Oh, yeah, pre-ad life of a showgirl, baby. But Tortured Poets, it was... No. This is not... Where? Hold on. Was it Robin? Hold on. Oops, hold on. I don't want to be copyrighted. Let me just go to the lyrics. Yes. Okay, Robin. Which, let's do a live deep dive. Okay, guys, calm down. I know. I need to be so... Robin lyrics, Taylor Swift. Because I'll be honest, as much as I do try to analyze these Taylor Swift songs, some of the Tortured Poets anthology songs were... I don't know that I'm smart enough to dissect them, or if I was at the time, so... How long have I been live? Okay, just shy of an hour. Okay. Go to Genius here. Okay, this is me reading off of Genius. To me, this lyric sparks the beginning of the narrator speaking to a younger version of themselves. In this line, the narrator requests that the younger version of who they may have once been reign for as long as possible, perhaps because of a change of the narrator has gone through. That means they no longer feel like the person they once were. Ding! Dang. Okay, wait, I'm gonna actually have to pour over this for a second because, yeah, this song was definitely way too poetic for me to understand it. Stop, that's actually so embarrassing. But yeah, obviously, if that's the intended message behind the song, it's because it's being played at this time where Belly is, like, in love with Conrad, and the poetry here. I got a comment, I just gotta say, talking about how this show was not deep, and it did infuriate me a little bit, but they were talking about how, like, people are trying to make the show way too deep, and, like, fans shouldn't be that into it, like, it's a little silly. But to be honest with you, I just disagree with the sentiment that any piece of content is inherently, like, not deep, because I think you can, and if anybody can analyze something, and if you can find meaning in it, whether it's for you personally, or it's for an entire world to, like, agree with and, like, kind of subscribe to that being the interpretation, like, that makes it meaningful, that makes it worth existing, that makes it worth creating. Anyway, some of these are, like, allusions to cats, but they have the line, all the showmanship to keep it for you and sweetness, which people are saying is, like, kind of similar to Mirrorball, where you're, like, just trying to perform. I've never understood why this song is called Robin if it's when she keeps saying like way to go tiger. Am I stupid? Sorry, I'm trying not to have a crash out about the fact that I don't fully understand this song already. But yeah, so I love that scene with the glass unicorn. Probably, okay, I was talking about songs. Jeez Louise, Sasha. We Can't Be Friends, and that moment in the show, number 1 for the episode. Then we're gonna go Lost of My Life, Love of My Life, whatever you want to call that song. Because I think it perfectly fit this moment for simultaneously both Conrad and Jeremiah, and I think that's really beautiful. Fits right there. And then I would say Robin, because I was not expecting it. Feels like a deep cut, even though it's a recent Taylor Swift song. It was on the anthology. It's a quieter song. It's a way more poetic song. Clearly, I don't fully understand it. But it makes me wonder if Peter will play whenever, potential spoiler for the book, whenever Belly and Conrad, Belly and Jeremiah officially called this off. Because to me, Peter, which I did understand better than Robin, is a song about like how she like couldn't wait for him. That he said, you said you were gonna grow up and then you were gonna come find me. You said you were gonna grow up, then you were gonna come find me. Words from the mouths of babes, promises ocean deep, but never to keep, oh never to keep. And I feel like that is the most perfect song to represent Belly letting go of Jeremiah, of like she was potentially willing to like let him grow up. Like I think that's honestly what this episode was. She was willing to like let him have his fun moments, but show up in the moments that mattered, to be there for her, to be this husband that she like pictures herself having. And he is not stepping up. He's missed every single one of the opportunities. And I also just feel like it's the goddess of timing once found us beguiling. She said she was trying. Peter was she was lying. My ribs get the feeling she did. Like, oh, that is so good. Okay, that's my new biggest theory for the show, is that whenever Jeremiah and Belly eventually call it off, that they are gonna have Peter play. That would be an insane get, and I don't know how I'd ever be over that, because that would be so good. That would be so good. Pal says, I'm happy to be getting more romantic content in the movie and shows. We need that. I just recently rewatched To All the Boys. It's so good. Listen, To All the Boys, I just was obsessing over Jenny Han's work and being like, you know what, let me go back to where my love for her content started, which was with To All the Boys. And that movie is borderline perfect to me. I don't know how to express to anyone how that movie has I beg somebody to find something with that movie where they're like, this I didn't like, because I just think it's that good. I think it's just a modern classic. It's a coming of age story. It's this it's such a fun concept too. The sisters, the casting of Aiden from Sex and the City as the dad is so perfect. Noah Centineo as Peter Kavinsky changed my life, to be quite honest. Not to be dramatic, but just not even trying to be dramatic, just simply it's kind of the truth. Much in the same way that Christopher Briney has changed my life with his portrayal of Conrad, and how much I care about that character now, because even season 1 I liked Conrad. I was like, yes, she should be with Conrad. I'm on board with that. But also listen, I'll say it, as much as I want to see Conrad and Belly together, I love seeing them both in pain trying to figure this out. It is such compelling television and storytelling, and I love it. I just love it. Okay, wow. Well, I learned something tonight about the song Robin, because I did not realize that was allusions to childhood and whatever. I also said this in my video today, but now outside of Peter, my biggest theory is that The Way I Loved You is going to play in the finale whenever we do see Belly and Conrad actually back together. But I feel like there's a sneaky possibility that there could be some more devastating Taylor Swift songs. There could also be the possibility of using, what other songs would she use? Getaway Car, when she's fleeing the wedding, potentially. I don't know. I also feel like there needs to be like a song for just Belly when she's like potentially in Paris. I don't know. That hasn't come up. That also hasn't come up. And I know a lot of people have been comparing Conrad's speech about like, you're getting married at a country club. Like, who are you? You wouldn't want this. When they're comparing that to Jess's speech to Rory in Gilmore Girls, which I have never watched Gilmore Girls, if I could confess that. I've never actually watched it like all the way through. I've seen like a few snippets of episodes, and I've seen obviously stuff online. Should I watch that? Because I'm kind of starting to feel like maybe I should. I just feel like I'm missing out on such a quintessential Gen Z experience by not having watched it, and I just feel like I have to get around to it. Plus, my Love Ventimiglia in like anything is like that's gonna be a selling point, so I have to see that. But yeah, the what was I gonna say? Yeah, I feel like I've almost run out of things to say, which is is saying something for the show. Oh, I was talking about songs. What else could be used? I don't know. I need Taylor and Seaman to get together, and I need them to be given like a really good song. Because I feel like they kind of got Snow on the Beach last season, which kind of is nice and fits for them. Does anyone think that we're gonna get a song from Taylor's new album in there? Because part of me feels like it's possible, but part of me thinks that's like really unlikely. Maybe we get like a vault song or something like that, like from Reputation or maybe even Debut or something like that. Yeah. Okay. I need to quell the Taylor Swift talk, but guys, I think I think you have sufficiently helped me get my major emotions from this show out and about. Obviously, I will still be on the internet yapping about the show until next Wednesday when we do this all over again. I appreciate you so much for being here. I appreciate you guys so much for watching the Summer I Turned Pretty content. I honestly posted it because I was like, screw it, like I'm enjoying this show, like I want to talk about it. And it's always so fun to kind of to do that and then have other people also talk about how much they love the show and like get to connect with people on it, because that's what I love so much about TV and movies, is getting to talk with people about it. And so you guys have always allowed me to do that. Also, just because this is very emotional for me, but I got the little pop-up that my channel has hit like over 1 million views like in total. I've been making these videos for 6 years now. I really shifted focus in 2021-ish to like making film and television content, and I feel like I've recently found like a new renewed passion for it, and I really think that's because of you guys for consistently showing up for content over the years that is so vast in quality and opinions and the content that's even being covered. And I love and appreciate so much the support that you guys have given me over the years. So with that little sappy ending, join me here next week. Be sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel. I would really appreciate getting to see you here, and like, you know, let me know in the comments, of course, if you're team Conrad or Jeremiah. I love getting to see the Jeremiah girlies be converted this season. I will say it's been very satisfying. But Jeremiah girlies, big hug for you. We're here for you. Even though I do want and need Valley to end up with Conrad. Okay, that's gonna be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you had a great time. I know I did. I'm gonna go back and watch that episode now, and probably just cry over Conrad Fisher. But you guys have a great night, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye, guys.